BBC Radio Cambridgeshire.
And over here in the red corner, we've got Barrie. Hello, Barrie.
Hi, Sue. How are you?
I'm very good. Now, you are somebody who's written a book.
I started writing about 7 years ago when I was put on the scrap heap by my employer, having spent 30-odd years in industry.
Yeah.
And it was a matter of waking up in the morning and think, what am I going to do now? And I started writing a diary originally, just to get into the routine of doing something, because I was so used to just getting up in the morning, doing my ablutions, off to work. And then suddenly I had nothing to look forward to. So I started writing, and I got the bug, and here I am 7 years later, and my second book has just been published.
Wowee.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
it's terrific.
Now, you have turned your life round because you, as you were saying, you were made redundant, and it's a big chair to move around the room, isn't it, and put it in another position.
It's a difficult one. I mean, at the time, I was doing quite well, thank you very much indeed. Just to set the scene, I had 2 new cars on the drive, kids at private school, lovely holidays, all this sort of stuff. And then suddenly no income. And it comes as rather challenging.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the trouble is, people say, well, it's easy to get work throughout your life. When you're in your mid-50s, you do become a bit of a pariah.
I think with it as well is when somebody sees a certain age on paper. If they meet you and then you tell them afterwards, I'm 75. They go, no, I can't believe it, But on paper, when you're applying for a job, very much so.
And of course, on paper, they say, well, you don't put your date of birth in, but of course you put the dates that you did your GCSEs in, so it doesn't take a lot of working out, does it?
No, exactly. Anyway, it's not all bad news.
No, not at all. No, it became a good news story, quite honestly, because I found another way forward, and I fell into writing, joined the local writers' circle, and started writing short stories. And much to my astonishment, after 3 months, I won an award for a short story I'd written. I'd never written anything apart from corporate reports. And I could argue you need a good imagination to write corporate reports. And I found that I grew more and more into the whole writing sort of genre. And quite a few of my friends were starting to write books, and I thought to myself, I'm going to have a go to see what I can come up with. And I didn't really have a full plan. I had an idea, a seed of an idea in my mind. And I wrote the first chapter. Now, some people say you should plan every chapter and know exactly where the book is going. Other people would say, just write and see what happens on the next page. And that's how I tend to write. Now, Jackie Collins would always write like that. Sadly, she died a few months ago. Now, love her or hate her, she writes a terrific yarn.
Yes.
And that's the sort of thing that I write, except because my mum has to read my books, I don't do the dirty bits. I do ...
So your first book was called A Higher Authority.
That's right. It was published last year.
Okay.
And it was terrific, actually. You can imagine by then I'd just hit 60. And suddenly I had my book in my hand. It was a real ego trip, quite honestly. You can teach an old dog new tricks, is the lovely thing about it. And so I had a lot of fun bouncing around the radio stations, promoting it. And I got a lot of positive feedback. And that gave me the impetus to then write the sequel, which is the one that's just come out, which is called My Enemy's Enemy. Okay,
so is this about espionage and that? What are the books about?
Yeah, it's about an operation called the Organisation.
Yeah.
The Organisation works closely with NATO, MI5. They're not part of any national agency.
Yeah.
They are, however, funded through governments across the world. However, nobody talks or knows about the organisation. Their function is to take out the bad guys, but quietly. And our hero joins the organisation from MI5. He's an Oxford graduate. Sorry, it's not Cambridge.
The other place.
The other place, yes, the dark side. And he gets involved in all sorts of capers. And at the end of the first book, he has quite a horrific happening, and this is the second book, My Enemy's Enemy, is the follow-through of the what happens next. The 2 books are standalone, and you can read them quite happily by themselves. Well, I've just outlined the 3rd book in the series, actually, which is going to be out hopefully in 2017.
So moving on.
Moving on, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the other thing as well, isn't it? Getting inspiration for different things, because when you do a book, you want to make it. You want to carry on a story that kind of has I suppose embroiled you for so long, but also again, have those sweet bits or those sour bits that make you go ooh.
You want to make a book believable,
yes,
and logical. Quite often, I will read a book or see a film, and I think, well, how did they jump from there to there?
Yeah.
And I like things to follow through, so that it might be far fetched or whatever, but if it follows through, there is a sense of realism, and people therefore get involved.
And there's a whole career change there as well for you, from going to working for a corporate company to
absolutely
suddenly going,
yes. I haven't worn a suit in years, and I love it.
Liberating.
Yeah, it is. It's liberating to use your own imagination and the fact that I've been able to do something beyond the corporate structure, because at the age of 55, I thought I was just a corporate clone.
Yeah.
And that was me done. And here I am doing something totally different, which is, I think, great. And hopefully it's an inspiration without wanting to sound conceited. It gives hope to other people who've been in a similar situation. Because there are, I know a lot of people, a lot of friends who've been cast off later on in life. Why? Because people who are reasonably successful become very expensive as far as the company is concerned, because they're earning too much money. So the company thinks, oh, I know, we'll get rid of that tier of management and we'll cut costs. And this is what the banks did back in 10 years ago. And of course, the whiz kids come along and they have these great ideas like, let's lend to the unemployed in America and things like that. And look what happened. So they save pennies by getting rid of a generation of experience, and it cost them billions.
Where can people find your book?
Oh, all the usual suspects. It's amazing with technology now. My sister actually bought a copy last week. She ordered it on the internet on the Tuesday, and it was posted. It was delivered on the Wednesday. Fantastic. They'll all get it for you without wanting to advertise names.
Okay.
Amazon, Waterstones, or
My enemy's enemy.
My enemy's enemy. $7.99.
By Barrie Hyde.
You can download it for $1.99 actually. And,
right.
yeah. I mean, it's funny. Some people have got a fixation about the downloading of books, and yet to me, if people enjoy reading on a Kindle, that's fine. I don't mind how they read it as long as they read it. It's rather like, should you download music or listen to an album? And again, if people enjoy downloading, that's fine by me.
Yeah, I know. It's how you like to.
It's an age thing. I mean, I like to have the hard copy.
Well, I do. I like to be able to
So
flip.
do I.